Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio.
It's never easy
the show!
I need help.
Yeah. We all need help. I think it's going to record for real this time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're going to make it past the 8.
Did you get the...
We're going to go.
Turn the auto off?
That,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think I did. Hey, here we are. It's your boy Yellow Teeth here with DJ Fuckface and DJ Piss. Say what up, boys.
Beware, my friend. Shit winds are coming.
Fucking right. So,
holy shit.
This is episode 2 of our album review titled
Challenging the Play.
Challenging the Play. This is episode 2. Last episode, if you didn't catch it, you should go back and listen to it. It was Whitechapel's newest endeavor called Kin, which we're not going to tell you what we thought about it. You just have to go back and listen to it.
Balls.
Yeah, I loved it. So today, DJ Piss, why don't you take it off? Tell them what we're reviewing today.
Fucking dingus.
All right, we're coming in today with the Animal Collective Time Skiffs from February 4th, 2022. This is Animal Collective's 11th studio album.
Jesus.
Yeah, their first since 2016's Painting With, and it marks the return of their synth and other multi-instrumentalist Deacon, who was not present on Animal Collective's Painting With. We got the original and same 4 members that have been, I think, on all their releases. A.V. Tear, their multi-instrumentalist and singer. Geologist, who does a lot of synth and multi-instrumental. Panda Bear, their drummer. And then the aforementioned Deacon.
I was surprised to see a lot of more traditional, like, rock instruments on this.
Yeah.
And I don't really follow this group. If anything, I follow Panda Bear more than I follow Animal Collective. But when I was younger, I definitely did have an Animal Collective phase. But I was like Strawberry Jam and Merriweather Post Pavilion.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of fell off after that.
Yeah.
Have they been experimenting with, like, not real instruments, but you know what I mean, stringed and acoustic and shit?
I think we're not so much on their albums in between these, but for this one, they did a show. I think it's called the Sound Lab. It's either in like Nashville or New Orleans or something. Okay. But it's a interactive show that they do, like bands do there, and they had to set up like more traditional instruments that people could play on while they were doing their live set, and that's where a lot of the inspiration for this came from.
Huh. All right.
Yeah.
Do you know if they actually had anything like interactive that they recorded with it from like an audience? Because it definitely sounded like they had something else, I guess, beat inserted in there outside of there.
Lots of fucking layers, man. Lots of fucking layers.
I don't think they took any recordings from the live sets. I think it's all because it was just the 3 of them without Deacon that did the live show, if I recall correctly. Yeah, and then. They recorded this one in isolation, so it was all they meant to get together to do it, but recorded it all separately and patched it together.
Yeah, it was started in like August 2020 or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's a pandemic album. For
sure.
It
is definitely a pandemic album.
Oh god.
So we got for initial takes, opening statements. Do we have a taker?
Well, I'll jump on that. I think it's definitely an Animal Collective album. I think it's a COVID album for sure, just because that I feel like it's them, but it's just a watered down version essentially. But I think that's possibly because of they're going for a specific style of that interactive, I guess, tone or musical instruments that they're shooting for.
For sure.
I heard a lot of Beatles and Beach Boys influenced in here, so I'm waiting for Jasper's praise and approval on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard like a ton of Beach Boys in this, and I think that goes along with the theme of the album, with it being called Time Skiffs. The whole thing is about like music existing in non-linear time. So I think there's a lot of those inspirations, and a lot of people have compared it to their older albums, getting back to like Merriweather meets some other really old album. And even the first time I heard it, I thought it sounded a lot like Feels, which is an older release.
Yeah.
'Cause that's where I went to listen to Feels, because I was just like hanging out in the yard one day, having a nice sunny day with it.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, And then I put the new one on, and it was really good. And I said, this sounds like the Beach Boys.
Yeah, my first impression was definitely Beach Boys heavy. Jerking on the cock of Brian Wilson, pretty rough. I tried to not. I read some about it, like just a little bit, but like I said earlier, I'm not a big. Animal Collective had their time in my life, I guess, already. Like, I was younger, I did a bunch of acid, I liked doing drugs, and they were a fun band to listen to while I did drugs. And I think I just kind of grew out of them. Like, this album really failed to do anything for me. Ultimately, there were like a few catchy parts or whatever. There are a few parts on it that were like, meh, okay, that's decent. And I can, whatever, we'll get into them later. I've got favorite tracks and least favorite tracks. But the whole record just sounded like one. I'm gonna say a sounds like right now, even though the sounds likes are for later. But I think it sums up. Pork chop sandwiches. I feel like it sums up everything I could say about this. Sounds like how a circus tent looks. Yep, that's how I feel. What do we got?
Yeah, Emmett mentioned that the other day, that it sounds like a circus, like a trippy circus.
Well, and then that leads to a bunch of other fucking sounds likes that I've got too that I'll just
Yeah.
album's
With that on the note, I think the second song just it kind of has like a hammer-on pull-off type of sound. I can't figure out the instrument on there, but it just kind of reminds me of just a quirky circus music.
It after the first three songs, it literally blends together. It sounds more traditional in some spots, like Strung with Everything. That song that almost has like the Who call and response, My Generation type of deal. It just sounds like My Generation to me. But nothing as extreme as their earlier attempts at trippy music. To me, this could have been a Jack White record. If I wasn't paying attention, you could have told me that. If obviously the vocals, but like this could have been like a Raconteurs B-side or like just a Jack White solo endeavor with just how much instrumentation and layers they were using of said like quote unquote traditional or acoustic instruments.
Yeah, it gets like really close to like just like 60s like vintage, I guess, like pop kind of jazzy.
It really does.
Pop stuff.
It really does.
Yeah,
in a good way, honestly. Yeah, for sure. It's not bad.
Honestly, I was trying to figure out like which part of the storyline they were in Dewey Cox, like Walk Hard.
Walk Hard. I totally got those vibes too.
It's just like, okay, there's
you don't want no part of this, do we?
Yeah, there's somewhere either before or after the. What is it? The tribal African orchestra.
The Hardy of Didgeridoos.
Yeah. Not until you learn to play the fucking theremin. That's my favorite line from that movie. No, I for sure got those vibes. Hard. Walked hard.
Yeah, I think the drumming plays a big part in that, because usually, and especially on Painting With, like they do a lot more of their rhythms from like the arpeggios and everything they have going on, and more of just like an electronic and really steady beat. And I think their drummer came in with like a separate recording of his drums and everything, and just wanted to do more traditional drumming. I think a lot of the feel comes from that.
Panda Bear's a very experimental drummer.
Yeah, it's cool, and I think he is really experimental, but it's pretty tight on this one. And like songs like Prester John, the way it starts, I think when the vocal comes in, it like totally spins just the whole rhythm of it, makes the whole feel change.
That was Prester John. Was probably my favorite song on the record.
Yeah, it's definitely
not that
I didn't like it at first, but it kind of grew on me. I listened to it probably the third or fourth time. I was like, okay, I'm catching on to this, but I guess all the ambient sounds is like intros or outros kind of just throw me off.
Like the first song, the first three songs, all like I said, are like distinctive amongst themselves, but they all still kind of have a similar flow. And then after Prester John, which is the third song, I think the next one is Strung with Everything. The whole vibe of the record just kind of flips.
Strung with
Everything.
Strung with Everything. Gotcha.
Yeah.
They're strung out on something making that song.
Strung with Everything.
It's.
We don't have to go into the lyrics just yet. Do we have any sponsors that we need to read from? We're moving up in the world, ladies and gentlemen. We have been contacted by several various sponsors, and we're working with them to get ads to you. But we also aren't going to sell ourselves to products that, one, we don't believe in, two, that we would never think of selling or using ourselves, you know? So if you have a product out there...
Weighs over 11 pounds.
If you have a product out there and that you'd like to peddle it, and you think that we would be a good platform for it, and it's something that we might actually use, please, by all means, contact us. Throw it. And we're not above a Nike sponsorship. We're not above all the other podcasters getting fucking Liquid Death sponsorships.
Liquid Death.
We drink
pot. Sponsor me, pot.
We-
I will take all your pot.
Marijuana. If marijuana has any sponsorships, we're down. Liquid Death, we're down. Any products
or
that
kettles.
we use,
I'll
kettles,
take a kettle too.
not kettlebells, but kettles like for heating up water and making tea with. We're all about making tea
a good
here at
kettle,
Mold
good.
Brain Radio.
A nice brass kettle would be wonderful.
Fucking love brass kettles. All right, DJ Piss, take it away with our sponsored readings.
All right, today for our sponsor, we have the Keyboard for Men. Are you tired of trying to find the right caulk for your bathroom remodel with the same keyboard that your wife or your girlfriends use to order decorative pillows? You need the Keyboard for Men. It's steel reinforced, because you never know when hackers or scammers might be trying to attack you. You can turn around and defend yourself. This keyboard is built tough, like you. It's got discrete hotkeys for ordering more blue pills and hair restoration jellies. F1 for construction tips. F2 if someone insults your favorite sports team. F3 for insecure rage. And F4 to tell someone who's probably a woman or a beta male directions. There's 5 caps lock keys because you're going to need to be heard in the message boards. There's no back button. There's no question marks. This keyboard is the keyboard for men who are tough. And if you use promo code MOLD today, you'll receive a free carbon fiber mouse. It is so fast. There's a 12 bearing quick wheel on it. You will be browsing faster than before. I use this, and seriously, I'm making huge orders. I'm making tons in crypto. My health through the roof. Man, you gotta get the Keyboard for Men.
If you really like that mouse too, if you're into WoW, you'll click away faster than the speed of light.
Oh man!
Oh yeah!
I'll tell you, I use both the mouse
But no
and
men
the keyboard.
do that.
But both of those things have not only upped my gaming, but they've upped my shopping to a whole nother level. I don't have to ask for directions anymore because I'm not a beta. I'm an alpha.
Absolutely.
I just know where I'm going.
Yeah, and that's why you use the Keyboard for Men.
That's fucking right.
Yeah, hardcore gamers that are out there. There's no S key. There's no going back.
That's right.
This thing is tough.
No questions asked. No stones left unturned.
Holy shit.
All right, I think we're ready to get back into the review. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, brethren and chodes, for listening to our ad reading. We are in the middle of our scathing review of Time Skiffs, the new Animal Collective record, dropped in February. DJ Piss is really harrowing for the success of this record. And I think DJ Fuckface and Yellow Teeth are a little bit less enthused with it. Favorite tracks? Anybody got favorite tracks? Mine's Prester John. I'll just go with that. Prester John in the last track.
Oh, yeah.
I won't go super hard with the last track. Just reminded me of Fleet Foxes. Fleet Foxes and Bad Bad Not Good. For those of you out there.
Oh yeah. I think, there's a couple of those old tracks, Passerby and both the last one, Royal and Desire, remind me of Shields era Grizzly Bear, and I was super down with them.
For sure.
That's really good.
For sure.
I think my favorite's definitely Prester John. That song is the shit. And then Walker as well. I just really like the whole vibe on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm digging the first song. Was that one Walker?
Dragon Slayer.
Dragon Slayer. That's right. Yeah, I was digging that one because I feel like I was walking into Sasquatch, and it has brought in the whole vibe of what I was gonna enjoy with the album, and that song and the next song after that.
That keyboard part.
Car Keys. Yeah, Car Keys.
The groove to that was dope.
I really enjoyed those two songs. I really feel like I was walking into Sasquatch and in a bright sunny day. The rest of the tracks was kind of more of that Beach Boys, Beatles blend. Not sure what part of the psychedelic trip, if they're going into heroin, if they're coming off the acid, but I don't know. I really dug those first two tracks.
Least favorite song, Cherokee.
Yep.
Cherokee is
Cherokee.
fucking bullshit.
No shit.
That is
Yeah.
literally an eighth of the goddamn album.
Yeah,
7 minutes,
I can't
yeah.
believe I'm so. Hey, we should get. Is there a hand clap on there?
I know.
Or a chorus of farts. Perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
there's too much ambient shit. They're trying to add so much garbage.
I know we went really hard on the lyrics for the last record, and I'm gonna try to not go as hard in the future. But the lyrics on this record really do paint a picture of someone who just takes too much acid.
Yeah, just a really
He's there, but he's observing. He's just a
Yeah.
pure observer, and it's like it makes me think like, is he really engaged in his life? Just all the lyrics are from like a staring at a painting sort
Yeah.
of fucking perspective.
can't see the forest through the trees.
Yeah.
type of-
It-
just so empathetic that you're like can't be in the moment. You're
Yeah.
too in the moment.
And
Yeah.
I personally struggle with that. Is like when I'm especially like having good times, like when all of Old Heart was together this last summer. Like I was sitting there around all my friends, and I'm like, how do I even enjoy this? And that's exactly what this album I feel like embodies. It's just like how do I even begin to dissect what's happening right now and then in turn enjoy it? It's difficult.
Pork chop sandwiches.
It's really fucking difficult.
Yeah, I didn't have difficulty listening to it. I think, for better or worse, it's like really chill and like has a mood. And
Yeah.
if you're not feeling it, I think it could be really boring. But like, I've been in the mood for it lately, and so it just like tickles that fancy. It's like 45 minutes
Yeah.
of being on the right.
If I'm in the mood for
wavelength.
it, Butterfly 3000.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
literally the only thing that's getting like my psychedelic pecker to stand up is Butterfly 3000. And I don't even have a psychedelic pecker. It's a really weird.
You treat me, man.
I love Butterfly 3000
It's
as
a
well.
good fucking
And
record.
I think they're kind of similar. I think there's a lot going around with like sort of modular synth sound and like
There was a
lot of
reoccurring-
sequencing and stuff.
There had to have been, and I noticed it today, because I was the actual first time I was able to sit down and rail the whole album from front to back. I've had to listen to it in chunks, but it has, and I could be wrong, but it sounds like it has a reoccurring like chord progression that comes in and out of the whole record.
And this one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it does. Yeah.
I again haven't read much into it. Not really certain
I think-
about that shit, but like I'm confident from what I was hearing today that there is a reoccurring, much like Nonagon Infinity,
Yeah.
where it's or even their most recent record, Butterfly 3000.
Yeah, the Shanghai sort of.
Yeah,
thing.
Shanghai
Yeah.
coming back into
Yeah.
whatever track number 5 or whatever.
Yeah, later on for sure. This one, yeah, like Passerby.
Interior People.
Yeah,
It totally comes
yeah.
back in the middle of Interior People.
Yeah. I think like what Passerby and Presser John have
And
like
Presser
the
John
same,
have
like,
thing
going on.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 chords I can hear in my head right off the bat.
Yep,
and
it's
it
like
kinda swings
A, B, F.
down, downwards into like maybe a minor, like, and then it'll swing back up into that cadence again and mellow the whole mood out.
And they just barely touch on it with the accoutrements around it, but it just alludes to like, I've heard this before. It's like a deja vu in an album that it's a nice little deja vu.
This is a great album to sit down, maybe smoke a few joints, but I don't know. I think having a decent amount of LSD or some ecstasy, even, you'd probably have a great time listening to this.
I put if you like them, then keep your expectations low, or continue having the low expectations you already have.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I'm digging the old shit.
Yeah, for sure. Merriweather Post Pavilion feels
definitely.
just those take it over the top. I feel like this is a good creative endeavor for them as people, and I will always support artists creating, but like from a fan and being shallow, like nah, I'm good.
There's just so much ambient sound, ambient music to it, and a lot of the old stuff. Like I feel like there was cuts and like silence within
More
like,
risks.
the song.
Way more risks.
that added to
Yeah.
the song rather than just having more sound to add to the sound of the song. I felt like sometimes less is more. You don't really get that with the album.
Yeah. I do hear some like throwbacks in it to their older records, like just some of the tones that they're using are like just close enough that like I feel like I'm listening to a song from an old album or like Odd Sack or something.
I listened to Strawberry Jam. I listened to that album from front to back, and then I listened to Merriweather Post Pavilion front to back. I forgot how much I love the song Bluish.
Oh man, yeah, that's
Bluish and Summertime Clothes. Both of those songs. I like. I don't know. It helped me rediscover love that I used to have.
Yeah,
for sure. But it doesn't stop my sounds likes from being really mean. Sounds like the last thing to broke ears before blacking out at a frat party and waking up in this sore asshole. Thank you for burping through that. Sounds like the synthesizers are doing all the work.
Hey, Stinky!
Sounds like upside down visors and Ray-Ban. Sounds like your dad's experimental soft rock. Sounds like what Bush thinks they sound like. Sounds like the Beach Boys branched out to ketamine.
I made
I like that one.
Sounds like Brian Wilson's Wet Dreams. This is my favorite one. Sounds like Sgt. Pepper. Wow. Sounds like Sgt. Pepper fucked all the animals on Pet Sounds.
Yeah.
damn.
I gave it 5 out of 10 lines of baby laxative.
Gonna shit yourself in and give yourself a nosebleed.
Oh man, I've got an off-air story I can tell you about baby laxative.
Hell yeah. Wild night on baby laxative.
Yeah, and it comes back to Animal Collective as well. It's,
Fuck yeah. All right,
you're on the nose with that one.
That's good.
I am gonna come in here before this album gets trashed again, and I'm gonna give it my 8.75 out of 10.
Hell yeah, dude.
I think it's real. 8.75 bags of popcorn. I think
Why not the full 9 though? There's 0.25 bags of popcorn you're leaving out.
Well, I might throw in a couple of large sodas because your mouth is gonna get dry from all that popcorn.
Gang.
But I think it's got an awesome mood. It was perfect. Like when I listened to it, I was like, "Oh, this is exactly what I wanted to hear."
Those are the best.
If you're not in the mood for it, yeah, it gets a little boring, and like pumping it like for a handful of days, since I'm used to like listening to a lot of different records in a day, like it plays out a little, but I definitely think it's a solid release
for sure. Nice.
Yeah, I'd probably give it. It's better than Kin. I'll tell you that much.
I knew that.
Yeah, I'd say 5.5. Generous to say a 6. But yeah, that's just probably because that's the amount of grams of mushrooms you're gonna need to get through the album.
Yeah, drugs helps.
Yeah, the drugs will really help you enjoy the album. Like it's such a mellow, like chill, like ambient sound. If you're really into just a relaxed time, then yeah, go into it. But if you're into like a texture of music and you're going into thinking maybe I'll get some crazy sounds with Animal Collective that will kind of catch my ear real quick and then sift away. Like no, it all kind of just blends together in and out with a similar thing or similar chord progression. So
Pork chop sandwiches.
it's a thing. It's not my thing though.
I've got my final
I'm trippy, man. Trippy, man.
This might be controversial, and I'm really sorry.
The giant horse conch weighs over 11 pounds.
Time Skiffs is an exploration into when you were 14 and figured your girlfriend for the first time. If I lived in a nice camper van with a yellow lab and I drove up and down the West Coast playing frisbee golf and surfed all the time, this would be my record.
Yeah. If
I
someone
pooped my pants.
I almost pooped my pants while listening to this record twice.
if someone's
Baby
parents
laxative.
who really were into the Beatles and their son was just a surfer boy that did a lot of acid, that son made this album.
Dude, the Beatles and the Beach Boys are so prevalent on this record.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how authentically they were able to recapture
What's cool
that
about-
area of time.
Is you hear different versions of both of those bands too, like earlier and newer, like influences, like especially with the Beatles, like more psychedelic stuff and more some of their old classic. Like,
Yeah, they captured they really, if that was their goal, they fucking hit it the nail on the head. They fucking crushed it.
Yeah, that first listen through, I was like, "Oh, this is so Beach Boys. This is right up my alley. This is
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'll get down on some Brian Wilson. I like some Pet Sounds. I enjoy the Beach Boys. I like his weird shit. Great albums to have sex to. I highly recommend. But
yeah, I'm not grimacing. Like it gives me kind of a side smile throughout it. Like it's not terrible.
if you want to make the girl with dreadlocks that you're dating comfortable enough to have sex with you, I would put on this record. That's right.
That sounds fair. I think that sounds pretty damn fair.
All right. Catch us next week. Do we have any more sponsors?
We have one just very bump sponsor.
Okay, bump sponsor, full sponsorship coming in later, full ad read later.
Yeah, they're going to see what our metrics are like and then see if they give us a full ad read. But we might be picking up this sponsorship from the Matt Gates Baby Gates. They are the first 6-foot baby gate meant for keeping in children of all ages.
All right, be on the lookout for that, ladies and gentlemen. Until then, hot dogs, keep your stick on the ice.
Your drunk uncle fucked your mother.
Hell yeah, brother.